All right. The other stream should be back up. Let's refresh this page and see what's
Yeah,
popping.
we're back. Okay.
We're back.
Sorry, everyone.
What they've done to the homeless community, rather, is trash. That's horrible. Shout out Midtown. Shout out our church, who does. And shout out to Midtown, the house, and shout out to Bayside in general. Are we ready for the hot goss? Because it's been publicly announced now. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
hot news for the Sacramento ecclesiastic community.
Well, it was just a little bit of goss to talk about, and I guess my goss version of it is the QAnon people and the people of Midtown are not the same people.
Ah, dang. Yeah, so basically that church is a little too... They're all out in Granite Bay and Rockland and stuff. Yeah,
Placer County folks,
Yeah.
it's all good. I love you, but, it is what it is. It is.
Biden mask.
Oh, I don't know
Are they
anything.
that deep into it?
I don't times that I've been there. That guitar playing nigger's back on our campus. Like, those are the two feelings that I feel when I walk up around Granite Bay. So
Feel a little self-conscious.
yeah, it's a vibe. So I don't know how Placer County boys and Proud Boys are a little different than the Midtown and the city folk, white, and put it as a cone head. So it's lit. What can we talk about? What does it even mean to have that big? I mean, like, I get KKK, and I never researched what all that junk means, but why that big cone on their head?
Because they really liked that movie, The Coneheads, back in the day with
Right.
Dan Aykroyd.
Because the Ku Klux Klan
Yeah.
started right after Coneheads movie
Why
came out.
they're trying to get respect from people? Why do they put those stupid hats on? They're like, we are the master race. Here, I'm gonna put on this clown hat to prove it to you.
and hide my face.
Yeah, and hide my face because I'm afraid of people knowing what I actually believe in.
And I wondered, has the Klan always worn the mask? Was there a time that they didn't, and then they started because of, it switches back and forth between who's the suppressor. Like, sometimes it's Democrat, sometimes it's Republican, not Democrat and Republican, but conservative and liberal.
Well, yeah, the Democrats used to be the slave owning party, basically, back in the day.
Yes.
It didn't switch until like the civil rights movement, I think. Somehow the Republican Party started being the racist party. They were both racist parties.
Yeah.
They were definitely both racist parties.
But the Democrats started adopting all the little black and brown kids.
yeah. Somewhere along the
They
line,
Angelina Jolie'd us.
like all the racist jump ship or the Jim Crow slave owning level racists were like, you know what? The Democratic Party's not doing it for us anymore. I'm going to the party of Lincoln.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, maybe we got some historical folks in there who can drop an essay in the comments for us, because
We don't know.
we must have missed that class. I don't know what happened.
We were being furious and Georgish, so
I was too busy being I was furious George even back in high school, man.
Yeah. I hear it. Did you find the cone heads?
Looks like it. So it looks like they didn't really start wearing that cone situation until they saw some racist folks in Hollywood did it. When Hollywood first made a movie about Klansmen, they had them in the pointy hoods, and
Oh, wait, was that
Wow.
movie Birth of a Nation?
I think so. So I think that hyped up their, white gowns, flax linen, white horns stuffed with cotton that turned into the hoods. And they're trying to shout back out to the Masons and shit, but it's what in the fuck is this? It was a mail order catalog that sold the hoods that were cheap and accessible. So it was a
just like we
combination.
ordered from Amazon today, you could have just went to Amazon or to what's that other little one, Poshmark or whatever that the girls be looking at.
Wait,
ASOS.
so you could order stuff in the mail back then?
yeah.
Wait
yeah.
a minute.
You send
ordered-
it off to some
Wait,
motherfucker
they-
with the Pony Express.
They just had like a racist catalog, a catalog to buy.
Well,
racist
catalogs were a
gear?
whole thing. Like when Sears and Rolex and all them fools first came out, their whole thing was catalogs. I mean, you might.
What,
it
what
might
catalog was this that you get KKK hoods?
I'm
It's like you can get your KKK hood, your Confederate flag, you can get your Aunt Jemima doll, like all that stuff, man.
Shout out to Kyla. The realignment.
Oh, she is dropping an essay.
Dropped the
Dang.
whole essay.
Wow.
The realignment of
Thank
black
you,
votes
Kyla.
from the Republican Party to the Democrat Party that began in the late 1920s proliferated, goodness gracious, during this era. The process involved a push and pull, the refusal. I need glasses,
The
people.
refusal by Republicans
My goodness
to
gracious, I
pursue
can't get close enough.
civil rights. The refusal by Republicans to pursue civil rights alienated many black voters, while efforts, shallow though they were, by Northern Democrats to open opportunities for African Americans gave black voters reason to switch parties.
And the source.
And the source, y'all, check the comments. Get educated. They're not teaching this in schools. I don't know what they're teaching in schools.
Also, follow Lynn Easy. Let me find out what Lynn Easy's is, because Lynn Easy be going hard.
I did find the official catalog that it was actually from, which is the mail order catalog of official robes and banners. Which used to go around, so if you needed to go, get your Confederate flag resewn or some shit.
Yup,
you
or
could-
get your Elks Lodge banner.
Sure, whatever.
Everyone
Advertise
is in
all the
fraternities.
standardized factory-made hoods for the new hierarchy, which were Klansman, white cotton denim hood with a red tassel, Terror, same hood with a red waistcord, and the Special Terror, which was the white satin hood and 3 red silk tassels.
Special Terror.
Yeah.
Shout out Special Terror. What? That's the name of a hat. Okay. Hold on. I just need to digest that for a minute. And it has tassels. This is if you really want to scare someone when you're burning a cross on their lawn and look glamorous at the same time.
It sounds like the LGBT was popping in the Ku Klux Klan. Looking glamorous?
They just wanted to look fabulous while they're. Well, there was a bunch
Fabulous?
of dudes going out in the woods together for extended sessions.
Circle
you know?
jerks?
Who knows what was what was the initiation into the Klan? Probably
Yeah.
something kind of LGBT.
Well, white boy fun. Like, we're going to. I don't know if I want to go down this road right now.
Like we're trying to figure. Yeah, what do white people do to each other when they're asleep, drunk? That's the.
I don't know, and I don't plan to find out.
I'll volunteer for the answer to that.
And ladies and gentlemen, Sam God.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you might get some balls on your forehead.
Woo! Hey,
There, I said it.
you might have to get shot. Like,
That's why not all cultures do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Woo!
So balls on the forehead.
Yeah, but usually it's just the old school tricks, like stick someone's hand in a bucket of hot water and it makes them pee themselves.
I think
Stuff
I
like
tried that at a sleepover and it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't think it actually works.
Yeah. I think I did try that one, but
And there's, you put some whipped cream on their hand and then you tickle their nose and it makes them go like that, which is kind of like, I prefer to just spray the whipped cream directly on their face,
Yeah.
'Cause
Or
then you know it's
cover
gonna work.
the trick is to get like 3 bags of whipped cream or whatever and daggone canisters.
Bags of whipped cream. Is that a grocery outlet or something?
Oh man, I only shop at Save Max. What's the cheap grocery store up the street? Anyhow,
Food Max? No.
yeah, Food Max,
Is it Food Max?
Food Max, Save Max, something.
Yeah. Anyway.
You get 3 canisters and you like cover their whole body in it, and then when they get up there, like tracking it everywhere. I don't know. That was a weird tangent. Let's pivot. I forgot where I was about
What's
to go.
been going on in the news these days? Nothing.
I mean, a bunch of Redditors on the internet are currently breaking the stock market. Y'all heard
Oh
about
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
I
did
did.
read about that. I don't quite understand
I
how
know.
it
I
works,
keep trying
but
to figure it out, and I
but
just
I
don't
get it.
Oh,
like,
all right.
I mean, I get that they're doing something. I just don't understand how. But the stock market is stupid anyway.
All right. Do y'all want the breakdown? Because I like went and did all this bullshit. But check
Please.
it out.
Yeah.
So like a bunch of hedge fund investors decided that GameStop was going to go under, right? They haven't made a profit since 2017. So what they did was short the stock, which is where they borrow somebody else's shares in the stock to sell them and hope that the stock falls down so
They're
that way
betting
they buy them
against it,
again.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like they absolutely 100% need to pay back for this stock that they've borrowed. And so if the stock goes down, they made money on the difference, right? So they borrowed that stock that was valued at 10, they sold it, they bought back at 7. And so like that extra $3, that's their money. They made money out of nothing. Now what happens though is, a bunch of fucking idiots on the internet got wind of this and they're like, what would happen if we spiked the price of this? All these hedge fund investors would have to buy back the stock at this now higher price, losing a bunch of money, but they'd also have to pay interest on their borrowed like initial fucking short. So when this happens, you're looking at millions of shares that these fools were trying to sell in short that are just kind of like non-existent, but the price is skyrocketing. So they're losing money, plus they're losing money on their interest. And so Melvin Capital, the hedge fund that, manages all this shit, they've lost something like $20 billion in the matter of like 3 days because some
Beautiful.
fools, yeah, and the fools on the internet, right, they could sell out and become millionaires right now, but the internet group, the Wall Street Bets community is like, no, hold the line, fuck these hedge fund assholes, we're just gonna bankrupt them because fuck them.
Yeah.
And like, it's a beautiful thing.
That's
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And then I saw Robinhood like started restricting people from buying the
So
stock.
Robinhood halted trading on it because it was too volatile, but they kept it open after market for the regular investors. So it was just like folks like me and you, your
Yeah.
average regular day trader who's like, I'm going to get involved in the stock market. Like, that's fucked. And like, nobody's really seeing the irony in a spot called Robinhood about taking
Right,
from the
right.
rich, like not
They're the
letting
exact
regular
opposite
motherfuckers
of
do
that.
it.
Yeah.
They're straight up the exact opposite of what they claim to be.
Yeah, so long story short, a bunch of stock investors thought that they were going to bet on GameStop going down. A bunch of assholes on the internet said nah, drove the price up. And without exchanging any goods or services, all these people are out like $30 billion.
Love it.
There
I
you
love
are.
every minute of it.
Oh, yeah, it warms my little communist heart to see Wall Street get fucked up like this.
Yeah. Eat the rich, baby.
I mean, I don't know. Eventually, in the next few years, I'll have that kind of paper to be worried about stocks and stuff. But until then,
I'm just a future millionaire, okay?
that's all I am. I'm a future billionaire. Get
I'm
it
not
right.
poor. I'm a future billionaire.
I ain't never been poor. I'm broke.
I am now because that EDD's not coming through, man. What's the hold?
Whoa.
Is anyone else having this issue?
Everybody's having this issue.
I saw that. Actually, I was like, I got in the car and I turned on NPR and it was like that show Marketplace, and they were like, EDD is held up all over the country and people aren't getting their payments. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't fill out the form wrong. It's just taking a while. Good. Hold on to my money for me a little longer. Let it build up. By the time they drop it, it'll be like a few G's and I'll be like, cool, time for a vacation.
yeah. Or time to, buy some new junk for the studio. Let's step our game up, Sam. Buy a bunch of cameras and stuff, bro.
I'll put that on a credit card.
We'll do that later on.
That's what Zounds is for, man.
Right.
Kyla says you guys need an Asian woman on your panel, by the way.
Okay, pull up.
We like to represent all groups, so we're going to take you up on that. If you can deal with our potty mouths.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast is
This is the most educational one so far. So if you're listening for the first time,
this is not the usual.
we don't want to give you
thing.
the wrong idea about what this podcast is.
This
It's usually
podcast-
not this informative.
it's a lot of dick jokes. Okay, it's a lot of just straight childhood craziness.
And
Yeah.
talking about how washed we are.
This stock market thing is wild though. Just the fact that you can just create money from no money, just so that you can have more money. But then of course you're gonna lock out the regular or poor people from getting your non-money money. It's just this system is so weird.
I know people that if you apply yourself, you can make money on the stock market. I mean, you can start off, you can make money with $500. I mean, but you have to work at it like a job and like watch
Yeah.
hella YouTube videos about it and read hella stuff about how to day trade. And I mean, it's like anything else, actually, it's not like anything else because you can start off with a little bit of money and like just sit there on your phone all day and actually turn it into money. But it's not as easy as people want it to be. Like everything in life, nothing's easy. I mean,
Shout out OnlyFans, which you
that's not
can
easy.
start off with no money and sit on your phone all day. And
Well, that's
make
true.
money.
If you have, a beautiful naked body,
Yeah.
my body doesn't look that good.
I think we're in the same
My
class.
OnlyFans is just not taking off right now, man. I've been trying.
Oh man, did we ever figure out what was on Khaled and Fat Joe's thing last week?
Fucking get it together and pay for the subscription. Tell us next week.
Oh, it's a paid
That
subscription.
costs money, man. You don't get freebies from DJ Khaled and Fat Joe.
Oh man, now I'm interested.
They're probably on there like greasing themselves up and running on one of those like splash and slide things.
Shout out to Fat Joe and DJ Khaled running on greasy slip and slides.
That's some fire content, bro.
Yeah, it's been just a weird week, man. I mean, we're still here. We're still gonna give you, some of this madness, but it's been a weird kind of slow week, and I think our Mercury is now in retrograde. Remember a couple of months ago when all the girls were talking about that? All the
I don't think that's a gender specific thing.
Sam, stop correcting me in public. So now it's our time to have Mercury in retrograde, okay?
Yep. Ladies.
Because
We're on our periods now.
because they got rid of Pluto.
Oh yeah, Pluto's not a planet anymore, man.
So
it's
it
like
threw
a
everything off.
It's
You
like
know what I mean?
It's like a planetary body or something.
Protoplanet, maybe. I don't know.
No, I was doing some research the other day because I was trying to tell my kids about this, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on. Let me look this up. It used to be a planet, and then they were basically like, oh, there's actually like 1 million Plutos out there in that, like beyond the other planets. There's hella little planets like Pluto. So they were like, well, that doesn't fit with our nice little narrative of there being a certain number of planets in our solar system where we know the exact number. So they were like, well, we'll just count these planets that we found so far, and all those little ones, we'll just give some different names so we don't have to teach about them or discover them or do anything. Like, we'll just teach about the ones we know about. So Pluto got kind of demoted to some purgatory status of like, it's like, it's not an
You're not a
asteroid,
planet,
you're
but
not
you're-
a planet.
We still love you though.
Like
Like
some stepchild that's been forgotten about.
dude, Khaled and Fat Joe's OnlyFans is free. And
Oh, Alex was just didn't. He probably just got lazy and he's like, I'm not looking this shit up.
and it looks like it's just a continued feed of like when you catch them together on Instagram. Is
Wow. Okay, so it's just it's
Oh.
just like this is what happened after that clip on Instagram.
yeah. But there are some clips that you have to pay to unlock, which I don't know what's on those. Not gonna find out.
Nope. You're not gonna sign up for the full on OnlyFans experience with Fat Joe. I'm cool.
Oh man! Shout out to
I'll
porn.
leave it to the imagination.
Shout out to all the girls making millions of dollars showing their boobs, which is wild. Why do you pay now to see boobs? Is this? I wonder if OnlyFans is like.
Well, like to see people's, the fresh content and like, oh, this girl just recorded this today or something. And they feel like they have like a special relationship with this person in a way. I'm just trying to get in the head of a weirdo here, okay? This isn't me talking.
I imagine it's because you feel connected. Like if you pick up some porn, you can interact with it in terms of you can like it or you can leave a comment or you can potentially
Which is the same stuff you can do on any site, but
well, but you can't interact with the porn star on Pornhub.
Right. Unless you're watching a webcam.
Yeah. So
Another thing I know nothing about. I just hear whispers in the night.
I don't know anything about it. Alex, when he was talking about all his hoes, he was telling us about it.
Every time with this bullshit. I did, in fact, date a webcam model, though, for a little bit.
Hey, shout out Alex with the webcam model.
Thank
okay.
you, please.
I mean, I don't. There wasn't much going on there. Like, she had one of her homegirls moderate it, and she was making hella money. She was making hella money, which was dope. Every time that we went out to eat, she picked it up. It was fantastic.
It was great.
Wow. Were you ever there when she was doing a webcam? Like,
Like part of her contract was like no males, like no other people inside of the webcam thing. So it was just like her playing with herself.
Alex was right behind the camera.
Well, I mean,
rubbing one off.
could you even be in the room but off camera and just be like,
Officially,
Keep it-
he was never there.
keep it a little less. You're just off to the side, like watching, just like,
Doing great
girl.
work, honey.
hey, wait, that's taking a little too far, honey.
No. See, no, I would have gone the opposite direction. Just like,
Bottles of wine at the restaurant. Come on, put in the work.
Smell that. Smell my finger.
Oh, jeez. Oh. You just had to take it too far. No, that's
Oh,
not right.
wow.
Taking it too far.
Um,
There is no two.
I'm not gonna lie.
He's on as sugar mama. Yeah. You know what it is.
You know what time it is? You know the.
She said webcam model with a tattoo on her titties. Yeah, reference to the episode where Nikki was on here.
Talking about
Shout out
Alex's
Nikki.
tattooed lady friends.
He gets flooded with angry texts after
Oh,
every
man.
show.
Yeah,
You know
pretty
he loves it, though.
much. Nah, man, it's lit. I just got some. Oh man, I just got some hammocks. Really, I like some outdoor. Like I can, like they fold into a pouch, and I can take them anywhere. We just took them to the park earlier today
Nice.
and sat in.
Picnic having ass.
Yeah, that's what made it so funny. I was like, oh, this is where we are now.
You got a wicker basket too, man?
No, I got to keep it all in the backpack. Got to carry the kids. So, got to keep everything in the backpack, including listen, man, you've been here, Sam. You know what's popping.
I know. I've been all weekend. I was going to the river with my kids and their friend, and like every time I had to hike out there with this backpack that weighed like 50 pounds.
Yep.
Got to have all the snacks,
Yep.
the stuff to drink, and then they got clay from the river, and I'm just like carrying a bag of clay. back.
That's how it goes.
That's dad life, man. Got to do
Let's get together soon because we gotta. I'm working on my packing. I'm pretty good right now. Like I still have to take diapers and formula and stuff like that.
God. And you got to carry the baby, so that's a
But
whole other level of.
I figured out how to get it all in one bag. I have extra clothes for them. I have diapers. I have wipes. I have all the baby stuff. Extra clothes. I have my daggone hammocks now. Food.
So you got the hammocks in the backpack too.
Yeah.
Damn, you packed that thing tight.
Yeah. Well, they're
You got it
small.
down to a science.
It's probably like the size of two of these cans next to each other. Like that's how big the hammock is. Like it stuffs into a little pouch about double that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
A little tall can of hammock.
Yeah, and it's lit, and it's I think it's like 350 pounds. So, and I got two of them.
It's just like carrying a piano on your back.
No. I mean its weight capacity is 350.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually had 350 pounds in there. Like, dang, bro.
The hammocks
Getting
have a
a
weight
workout.
capacity. Nah, nothing like that. I have done that before though, carrying like you were talking about, like 50, 60, 70 pound packs. When we used to go on bike rides, which was kind of difficult to ride a bike, but it did make it easier in some ways. But yeah, we'd pack sandwiches and Capri Suns and snacks, and I had a massive hot cold bag, probably almost the size of that QSC, and I would pack that full of stuff, and we would go out on 10-mile bike rides, and 10 miles ain't nothing until you put 70 pounds on your back. So
That's a whole different ball game.
speaking of, when we gonna go ride, man?
Oh man, I don't know. Oh no. I've been loving the river time though, man. It's beautiful out right now.
Yeah,
Sacramento's nice and sunny after the storm.
yeah. We just went to Monterey and came back this weekend, and yeah, it was beautiful down there. I was out there with no jacket on, chilling. Like Monterey was lit. I miss being out there in those areas, Monterey, Santa Cruz, Seaside, all of that. Like, but we went down to Fisherman's Wharf, kicked it, had a good time. The kids took pictures in front of all the signs. You know, all the good stuff.
All the regular stuff. We're wholesome dudes, okay?
Listen, man,
We
family
just get on
man.
this podcast to talk shit and vent, but
Everyone's sense of we don't want to be on the BS. Sometimes we just want to kick it and like actually talk about stocks and why the stock market is trash and why this whole thing happened with the homeless community, which we didn't even really get into, but
let's get into it, man.
that's
I mean,
a pretty
what's-
wild. That's a
the
pretty wild
homeless
situation.
Problem in Sacramento is completely out of control right now. I mean,
It's been for
we
a
gotta
long
get
11,000
people
time.
in some
people.
houses. Going back to me going to the river this weekend. Actually, the first time I went by myself, and I kind of got lost out in the woods, like
Yeah.
roaming around on random like back trails.
Yeah, yeah.
And I kept coming into these like homeless encampments, and I was like, shit, I shouldn't be back here, because like in my mind, I'm thinking this is the only like private area these people have. Like this is their zone to me.
Yeah, yeah.
The back road, like the back trails of the river, that's for homeless people to try to find some place to escape from everyone and get some privacy. And it's sad that they have to do that.
There are some good trails, but you definitely got to know where to turn right and left when you're going through those areas.
Oh,
Like,
totally. I got lost.
Yeah.
Like, I
Where
started
were
to get
you?
a little worried for a second.
Where were you at?
I was at William B. Pond. Up Arden.
Ah, yeah.
But I had gone out of William B. Pond, and I was on the trail going downstream to whatever the next park is. And so I
Got
was
it.
just kind of in this like no man's land.
I
And
know.
it wasn't it was like an area that's underwater sometimes, It's just like,
Did you go past that bottom parking lot, like that parking lot where that beach with all the rocks? You had to have if you got
yeah,
lost in the
yeah.
forest. You went past that. I'm trying to think because I ride my bike through there, so I'm like, where?
but it's not a bike trail. It's like a trail you have to walk on because it's really short and like
I mean, not when I got the kids.
it's
with
like
me.
at the very end of William B. Pond, like
Yeah.
by where there's that little deck you can walk down on, and
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
And then it's still like you come around and it's still almost it almost looks like a desert type area. I've ridden through that trail a few times. Maybe I made the right turns.
yeah, no, it's easy. I mean, I was purposefully like getting off the trail because I thought I could cut through somewhere. I was just
Okay,
being
okay.
crazy, and I was kind of trying to get lost. Like I was just kind of having a nature moment.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I was just
I
like,
mean, you got to get
and
lost.
then I really got lost, and I was like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. I
The-
didn't think I could actually get lost, like, but I did. But then I found that homeless encampment, but it was like abandoned. But it was all these like just soaked sleeping bags. And then I ran into some random dude that might have been
In that
part of the
encampment,
homeless
yeah.
community, but he was just out there walking his dog around. And I was like, how do you get back to the main trail, man? He's like, oh, it's like right up there. But I saw a bunch of deer running around. Like, it was great, man.
I love going to listen. Shout out to the American River Trail, which
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing trail all the way from Folsom to Midtown.
Oh, man, there's so
Like,
many spots.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great
That's what we
ride.
got here in terms of nature. But you can really go out there and not feel like you're in an urban area at all if
Yeah.
you go to the right place.
Yeah.
You just
Straight
get
up.
disconnected from it.
And that area that you're talking about, between William B. Pond and all the way down to Watt, that's like one of the most beautiful portions with the tree canopies and all of that. It's lit. But what are we gonna do about our homeless people? First off,
I don't know, man.
we got to deal with
We
it.
gotta
I
do
think,
something.
yeah, and we got to deal with some of the mental health aspects, which I don't think gets talked about enough when dealing with this community. Like, you just want to put all of them in bunks somewhere together. It's like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was talking about last week, right? Was like them building the mental health facility of the main jail because they're like, well, we can't give you adequate housing because we need to charge people for housing because housing needs to be for profit.
Right.
But-
Right. But this prison can.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But we'll put you
Oh,
in prison
yeah.
in 6 years.
That's basically what it is. It's the place to put homeless people because a lot of them are so far gone that people don't know what to do with them, so they're just like, oh, well, we'll just throw you in a cell.
Yeah,
Which is a good
Ronald
point.
Wilson Reagan was the motherfucking devil.
They did that before they built that stadium downtown.
Yeah,
They put all those ordinances about paraphernalia, like camping paraphernalia. So if you had a tarp or a sleeping bag or anything that could be construed as camping gear, you're going to jail, at least an overnight or a weekend. And that's how they cleared the streets down there on K Street for them to build that. Because, K Street used to be like one of the spots.
Oh yeah.
And in that mall and everything. So that's how they cleared out. They just started throwing them all in jail. One dude said he got arrested like over 200 times in a year. So basically they were arresting him, letting him out, arresting him, letting him out, arresting him like the whole year. 200 plus times in a year? That's like every other day. So I don't know.
And then what's up with the warming centers? Because like my church used to do that, where in the winter on some nights we would open the church up for homeless people to come in and sleep.
Yeah.
And a lot of places would do that. And then they stopped doing it because of COVID. But
Yeah.
to me, I'm just like, oh, so just let these people die out in the cold? Like we're that afraid of COVID that we're not going to give homeless people a warm place to sleep. Okay. Because there's like a 0.0001% chance someone might die or something. Like, okay, yeah, we'll just let them fend for themselves out in the cold and the rain.
Well, also there are ways to do tests and even rapid tests. Checking the temperature seems to be like everybody's go-to, the easy one that everybody uses, just checking the temperature. So you can do
But
that.
of course, they could be an asymptomatic carrier. But it's like at this point, it's like, who cares, man? We're trying to – this is a problem that's been going on since before COVID. It's still going on. It's not going away. We should make exceptions to like the COVID regulations when
Definitely.
it comes to helping homeless people, in my opinion.
Definitely. Definitely. I think that we're one of the and I need to look into it. I haven't been down to play with that ministry in a while, but I think that we kind of stopped doing the overnight thing too at Midtown. We still like give out the lunches. We still, I think, have the shower that pulls up and clothes, food, whatever, however we can throughout the week. Not just, I mean, there are times where it's like, hey, you can drop off food for the homeless at this time on this day, but there are also several people that just do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have both of those things going, and I think the shower pulls up once or twice a week. It's ingrained, even if we don't realize it. Like so many people are like, I got to get mine and F everybody else. And if I work
compassion.
Yeah, like no compassion, no empathy, no nothing. It's just like, these are people that are sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
This is what, like, and I've even said in my mind, not about the whole homeless community, but about different individuals I've seen. I'm like, what did you do? How did you get here? And then I had to take a step back and saying, even if it's just you kind of looking at a couple of individuals, you don't know what people go through. And what's the word I think they use the word victim blaming now, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, let's be honest. Like, some people are homeless because they've burned literally every bridge in their life. A lot of times because of their substance abuse problems and their unwillingness to like deal with it and actually go to rehab and stuff like that. So everyone just cuts them off. So that's some people, but those people still need help too. You know, and then a lot of people aren't in that boat. Some people are people that are like more like between housing. I mean, there's families out there, like I give
whole
money
families, kids.
I give
bro.
money to Mustard Seed School like all the time. It's a school for homeless kids. They have
Whoa.
a school in Sac it's at Loaves and Fishes, It's like there's a lot of homeless like families out there with kids, and cops, anyone will just be kind of like, "Oh, well, you guys got a car to sleep in? Okay, cool." It's
Right.
like, it's not that it really matters, but a lot of people are just, once you get to that point, I think what I've heard a lot is that when you get to that point, it's hard to bounce back. It's like when you're stuck in a rut in life, it's hard to get that momentum going again. When you don't have an address, it's hard to get a job. It's hard to get apply for any kind of benefits or anything, you know? Like
I'll take you a step
you don't have an
further. It's Thursday through Sunday, going out and having drinks and getting wasted.
right.
How much more do you think you would be doing if you were sleeping outside
yeah.
and your kids were sleeping outside and it's raining and the city won't help you and the city says, we're going to open this up, and then they don't? You might have to hit some heroin to escape. You like straight up.
I need a drink.
Yeah.
It's like every couple of days the cops come by and take all of your like literal survival equipment, and
Take
then it's just like,
yeah.
bro, I was
Bulldoze your
really
tent.
or like think about, you know, when you try to get an apartment, they're like, bet you got a security deposit. And it's like, no, motherfucker. It took me a real long time to scrounge up this $600. Like,
Yeah. Oh, you got minimum wage, and my job doesn't even know I'm homeless. I shower at a 24-hour fitness.
Straight up.
Like,
Yeah.
Straight up.
But,
It's wild.
but it's like you said, Alex. Like, because everyone thinks that housing is something that should be a capitalist thing that's turning a profit. That's a big problem that we're in. I mean, some form of housing should be a human right. Like at least a plot of land. That's the thing. It's like, okay. So, you know, maybe no one should have to build a house for you, but you should at least have a plot of land to build a house on.
I mean, what
or
the
a
fuck we
tent,
doing with
whatever.
Arco Arena right now?
Nothing.
Yeah, straight. Cal Expo's a vaccination center, but like straight up art like Arco.
We got
doesn't
plenty
do
of
it.
land.
There's so much space. What the fuck are we doing with a golf course?
No, well, not
Like,
no,
That
that's all
shit
good.
up, man.
I'm
Yeah.
not even mad at the golf course. What I'm mad is that they're still developing.
right.
They're still building more communities, and I'm like, we have at least 1 million daggone empty houses in Sacramento.
Right,
Why are we building
But
houses?
those are all owned by someone that wants to
Oh,
get
They
money.
ain't owned by
for
somebody.
those.
They're
Fuck
owned
a
by a
fat
bank
one.
that's gambling your money on GameStop.
and losing.
Taking
And
money out
losing.
interest free from the government and then loaning it to us with interest.
Straight up.
It's all a crooked game, y'all.
Creating a dollar. Yeah, this whole thing is just, it is a bit infuriating. And I also want to point out that I understand, and I'm sure that us all in the room understand that, you know, you can't save everybody in a sense, but you just
It's
do
not
what
that
you,
easy. Yeah.
you just do what you can, even if it's just that you found, like you said, what was the name of the school? You just
Mustard
donate
seed.
mustard
Mustard
seed.
seed school.
You donate to a mustard seed.
These kids are not going to be distance learning on Zoom.
Yes,
They just had
straight
to
up.
basically turn their backs on these kids because they're afraid of getting the coronavirus. Like, I mean, I almost went down there and was just like, can I just teach these outside of sleeping in their parents' car or whatever? And a lot of homeless people are staying in motels and stuff like that. That's another thing that doesn't get talked about enough, is that it's like living in a motel is not a stable existence. You know, even if you get into a motel and you're like, okay, we got a roof over our head tonight or this week,
Yeah,
but then what happens next week when you spend all your money on food and you don't have any money left to pay the guy, you know, pay for another motel room? You're back in the car,
Yeah.
or you're back at sleeping on grandma's living room floor or something until she's like gets sick of you. Or I mean, people are moving around. A lot of people that are unhoused are like not living by the river. They're kind of bouncing on people's couches and motel rooms and maybe sleep in the car a few nights. Like they're just constantly trying to figure something out.
no stability.
And they
Like,
don't
it's
have
just-
a rich family to lean on or anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't have any generational wealth to fall back on. They're just out there.
or even amongst their own generation. Like they might have somebody maybe has a 1-bedroom apartment with all linoleum floors.
Right.
And they have their own family living in there.
Yeah, they already got their family plus an uncle or something
Yeah.
living in there, and they're
Living
like,
in
"I
a
guess I can
one-bedroom."
take you in for a little bit, but
And you're sleeping.
now we're homeschooling everyone because of COVID, and it's just nuts.
People
out here.
sleeping under the dining room table. Like it's probably crazy. And I only know these things kind of through movies. So if I'm saying anything too wild, you know, sorry, but
Well, no, these things happen. Not in my privileged upbringing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't. So I learned about
But
it.
that's
as
why
I got
we got to be
older.
the ones to help people out. You know, it's like the people that have it a little better have to help out the people on the bottom rung of society. That's the whole point of having some like socialism or whatever. I'm not a full-on commie like Alex over here, but I'm definitely down with a lot of these principles being involved in what we're doing. But then you have the other side that's always being like, no, don't give them a leg up. I just live in my grandma's trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't they just move in their grandma's trailer?
Well, also, okay, so there's a couple of things. I'm enjoying this conversation. The fact I had like 3 things and I just lost all 3. All right, so
Give me some things.
shout out to Dank Sweets. I'm thoroughly smacked. There's a portion of people that I'm quite sure as gets done with like food stamps, like EBT and stuff, that take advantage when they don't need it. So there are probably some people that are kind of struggling and doing their thing, and it's kind of a struggle to get their rent together, but they make it happen. And if we create housing, those people will just be like, and there'll be like an influx of people while you're trying to clean up the people from the river. Clean up sounded bad. While you're trying to help out from the people from the river, you also have this influx of people getting in your line that are just like, well, we've been having trouble paying this rent.
So I want this super cheap free housing.
Yeah. So I know that that's a problem that they probably look at too. But, you know, another thing is I've heard somebody say, and I'm changing directions here. I was talking with somebody about this, and she was saying that she was basically talking about different people and how they're not doing enough. And I'm like, all right, I get it. And it's like organizations. I'm not saying that she pointed out Bayside, but like organizations as big as Bayside or a church or something like that. And she's like, you know, some of the bigger organizations aren't doing enough at all.
They're
Some of
supposed
these
to be
churches.
there for the people. They're nonprofits.
And so then I started describing to her some of the things we do at Midtown, and she was even still like, that's not enough. And I'm like, well, listen, it's not up to one organization, I don't think, in this context. It's not up to one organization to take on all of it, because that's not their purpose unless there was a department created for that. But as if this church does something, this church does something, this organization does something, we just all do it collectively.
That raised a good point, though. Is there even an organization in Sacramento that's like an official government organization that is made to fix the unhoused problem? Crying like, why is there no warming centers for these? You hear about all that?
I didn't.
Yeah, apparently he had like an emotional outburst at this like Zoom like city council meeting where he was like, started being like, why do we have no warming centers? It was like right when that big storm was coming through. And he like started crying and stuff. And it's like, bro, you're the mayor. The hell?
Sign some papers, bro.
Like,
get your pen
Who
out.
are you even talking to? You're supposed to be the fucking leader.
Yeah.
Quit blaming other people. What kind of a fucking leader does that? That just pissed me off. Like, bro, like who... We're complaining to you. You're the fucking mayor. Like, fix it. Do something. Create a department that's supposed to solve this problem. Like, don't just put on a show at your Zoom meeting and make it sound like you care. Like, we're not stupid.
All right, so here we go. We're going down the deep hole of not quite conspiracy, but, you know, the hour where we talk that greasiness.
Oh, here we go.
Government's trash. Government is a job. These motherfuckers don't want to help. They just want to keep their jobs.
This is facts.
It's
Which
facts.
part of this is a conspiracy?
No. It's not a conspiracy. That's why I said, is it? But we're heading in that direction.
This is established facts.
Yeah, this is facts.
You're still in the established fact.
Yeah.
hour.
We
George
haven't
with that.
Yeah.
That's not even a hot take. Like,
No, that's not a hot take. I feel like with that statement, though, I made a right turn that can lead us to our conspiracy hour.
Oh, we could go anywhere from there. But yeah, I mean, that's the basic. And who would trust government to fiction should tackle the homeless problem? I'd like to say the government in Sacramento, but idealistically, I'm like, they should be the ones to do it. But right now, it's like, I don't know if I want to give them a task that important, you know, because they're just going to mess it up, man.
Straight up.
The churches should come together or whatever, you know, I don't know. Everyone.
But even if you don't come together, I mean, I'm pretty sure all of the leaders in different places, in high places around the city, you can communicate like, hey, we're doing a sleep on Sunday and Monday. So you guys also do sleep on Sunday and Monday, and then you two over there do it on Tuesday and Thursday. It wouldn't be that hard. I'm pretty sure they all communicate and eat barbecue together because everything's about barbecue.
Use barbecue as the catalyst to make the change.
That'll work. You guys want the hot take on this?
Let's go.
Please.
All right, look, the reason why they don't fix homelessness is because they need everybody to see homeless folks so that way if you decide to step out of line and start doing too much bullshit or trying to like fight the system as it stands, it's like if you don't generate a profit or capital for somebody, somewhere, some corporation, some person, you're going to be like that motherfucker.
That is some very
That is
good
facts.
yoga mind trick,
Yo.
behind the scenes, blatant but very subtle. Yeah,
It's
mind
just, it's
manipulation.
just the constant reminder that if you don't play with the system, then you ain't get to fucking live a comfortable existence.
Yep, this is how you're gonna end up. Like, yeah, they're always there at the fringes to remind you.
That's still facts. We're not on conspiracy hour yet. We're still facts, but we're getting a little closer.
I mean, the funny thing, not funny, but if you look in a lot of like third world countries, I mean, you don't have the same homeless and unhomeless problem. You have the slums versus the middle class and upper class people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, the slum life is very similar to what homeless people are going
Straight
through.
up.
It's just that we don't have slums like that
Straight up.
yet. We have like our more low income neighborhoods, but they still have houses and apartments in them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You go to Brazil, people just got corrugated a corrugated metal roof with like some cinder blocks, and that's a house, and it's one room for the whole family and grandma.
I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback on that. I say that we do have slums, but they keep them just under control enough to keep it down because these homeless encampments are our slums.
Well, that's what
but
I'm
they
saying.
keep it just small enough. But like in LA is wild.
Oh man, yeah, Skid
LA
Row.
is, oh
But
my
look at,
God,
I
it's
mean, look
wild.
at down, by Loaves and Fishes, like we were talking about the other day.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's
right there
starting
off
to
of
be like Skid Row,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
like-
It is a whole Skid Row right there. It's not that
But
long.
that's
but-
what the slums. That's what slums are. Like in other countries, they started off with people that were just like illegal slums, where it's a bunch of
Yeah.
people just start building their little huts, and eventually you got thousands of people there, and the cops are like, "Well, we can't even stop these people
Can't
now,
do
so
anything.
we'll just call this an illegal slum." And then every once in a while, we might come through and bulldoze like half this shit. You know what I mean? And it's messed up. But that's basically what our homeless encampments will become.
Yeah.
If we don't come up with some alternative of housing to give, I think people just need to have some kind of land as a right. Because think about it, if you're homeless, you literally can't even exist. Your existence is a crime because you can't
Yeah.
sleep
Yeah.
anywhere in public. It's illegal. You can't just sleep on a park bench. You can't just set your tent up anywhere in Sacramento legally, really. So you're just you are just an illegal person. What kind of sense does that make, man?
And you ain't even an illegal alien. You just an illegal person.
You're an illegal natural-born American citizen,
You ain't even allowed to be here. Yeah, that's wild.
You just have nowhere
I
to
didn't
go.
think about it like that, but yeah.
That's just fundamentally wrong if you think about it. I mean, it's just fundamentally wrong. No one can really argue. Like are there any hardcore Republicans listening to this that want to argue with me? I don't.
No, I don't think anybody wants to argue that. But if you want the smoke, hop in the comments because we'll give you the smoke.
I'm wondering, like, what would Ben Shapiro say as I'm saying this? Would he just be like, "Well, their parents should pay a down payment on an apartment for them"?
Okay.
I don't know. Like, what would he say?
Their parents live in the shelter and they live in the tent. What else you got, Ben?
Like, where are they supposed to go if they have no home? Where are they supposed to sleep when they can't sleep anywhere legally? Like, what are they supposed to do?
Anti-shout out. Can we have an anti-shout out list? Anti-shout out to Ben Shapiro.
Fuck that guy.
I liked, I heard a couple of his things. Like, I heard about him, and then I listened to a couple of his things, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. And then he got to something about, he said, well, statistically, black people are criminals more than white people. And I was like, all right, let's see let's see.
Talking about someone else's group, you were
Yeah.
like, okay.
Well, no,
I'm
no,
listening.
it wasn't even a group. He was talking about like kind of economics in general or something that was a little more general.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like in my head I was like, yeah, he
I
seemed like
don't disagree with everything he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I was like, he seemed like an asshole, but okay, like whatever. And then he said that, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. Then he's like, well, they should profile black people. You're like,
I'm like, now I'm not saying you shouldn't profile criminals. If you profile a criminal, black, white, whoever, all right, but you know,
well, the whole point is, how do you know they're a criminal? Face tattoos.
if
I say they should be able to
Oh my
profile people
gosh.
with face tattoos, but that's it.
I'll say this. I'll say something slightly problematic, I guess. If you're looking extremely disheveled and you look high and you have a face tattoo and you have a Bluetooth speaker playing as loudly as it possibly can, hanging out of your back pocket from your pants sagging, playing Sugar Free, let's ask you a couple of questions. Just a couple of questions. Like, not that I need to arrest you, but it's just like, bro, you good? Like, do you need a detox? Maybe. And here's another thing. When you throw people, because I don't think we have it as much here, but you hear about it in the bigger spots like LA, New York, whatever, even in San Francisco probably, like the drunk tank. And I'm pretty sure they have like similarly a drug tank, just an intoxication tank. And I'm wondering
A
how.
drug tank. It's the same tank.
Yeah.
It's the same tank.
Yeah.
They have a place where they lock up people to throw them in there for the night when they're like, you high as fuck
And
you're pooping
and
on
you're
yourself.
wilding. Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, I don't think it should be jail, but that doesn't seem like the most horrible idea as far as if that can be incorporated into part of our, like, what our housing thing needs to be. Like, when they're building the prison, but it shouldn't be a prison. It should, like, build something, and if you gotta, all right, hot take. If you got to restrain a Summer Mabisi for a couple of hours for the safety of others and for the safety of themselves, like, I guess the issue with that is who gets to decide and how far we go. But sometimes the Summer Mabisi needs to be restrained. I've probably been
true.
there myself. Like, you know, we all went to college.
I've
like,
been a menace to society before, and they did restrain me. Okay, long story. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll get into that later.
Let's go. Let's talk about it, Sam. We got two
No,
more
no,
hours.
no,
Let's
we're
go.
not.
Tell us about that time
I
that
don't
you
talk
got
about me on this show.
arrested in Bangladesh.
I mean, I was just smuggling heroin.
So with heroin, we will say that this has been the Furious George podcast, and it's lit. It was a little slow this week, folks. Don't worry about it. We just came in here on a weird vibe. We were talking before the show, not having much, but you know,
No,
it's lit.
I thought it turned out good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually talked about shit that mattered for a change. So, you know.
Wasn't dick jokes this week. It was real intoxicating conversation with Legendarius
Sam God.
and Ali Flamingo. We appreciate y'all. It's been lit. We'll see you.